Listen to this episode if you feel like it has been harder to sell recently through your online channel. I have been getting a lot of DMs recently of people being like, Maddie, why is my January so slow? Why is my February so slow? I just feel like sales have shifted. I just feel like the online world of e commerce, consumer behavior, is this me? Is it my products? Is it the economy? Like, why is this really happening? And so I wanted to provide you a full episode all about this topic because I really feel it's necessary to normalize conversations like this. I know just from being in business for long enough is that there's constantly ebbs and flows in business. There is always going to be trends, there's always going to be pendulum swings, there's always going to be things moving and shaking in business. And we as business owners just have to be able to pivot and adapt and notice that it's a pattern and be able to pivot and adapt. And this is what I really want to talk about today. I want to normalize this topic for you that you are not alone here and kind of just dive in to what I recommend doing instead and why things are really changing. I want to give you that inside scoop and really just share what I am telling my clients to do if they are feeling this. If you're new here, I just want to take a second to welcome you. Welcome to the Small Business Growth Podcast. I'm your host, Madison Page. Here we like to chat business in a hyper conversational way. I like to say it's kind of like sipping coffee with a biz bestie. This podcast is all about sharing tangible business growth advice as if you were sitting across the coffee table from me at a local little coffee shop having a chit chat about business. I hope you follow along, stick around. We have over 300 hours of podcast episodes out there for you to binge and learn and really take away a lot of framework, strategies, tactics that you can utilize in your small business today. So, let's dive into this topic. I just want you to know that you are not alone if this is something that you're feeling. And if you haven't felt it, that's awesome, but it is still really important for you to know what is actually happening and what is changing. Maybe what you're doing right, whether it was intentionally or not, and what is really going on. Now, I just want to say the longer that you're in business, the more that this is going to happen. That what you do 3 years from now is probably not exactly what you're going to look like today. Do the marketing principles stay the same? Do your sales processes stay the same? Do you always need to grow, nurture, and sell? Do you always need brand awareness? Do you always need to do launches? Yes. It really is just the tweaks and adjustments to what we're doing and the major things that we are prioritizing that really need to change. The consumer behavior in these last 6 to 8 to 12 months has changed because life has changed quite a bit in this last year, this last 2 years. Many people, and I know many of you started your business in the heart of COVID. What was the world like in the middle of COVID? Many people were home, whether they were working at home or they were laid off or they were scrolling on social media quite a bit more. We were all on our phones and we were like dying for something to do, really. Now, people are back to normal life. A lot more people are back to working in office. A lot of people are back to working their full-time jobs. They're either back at work, back in office, or we're just back to normal life from 2018, 2019. And of course, life will never be the exact same as it was as things were keeping on moving and shaking because we went through the pandemic. A lot of things have changed. The political climate, the economic climate, the lifestyle has dramatically changed in the last 1 year, 2 years, 3 years from when COVID started in 2020. I know it doesn't feel like it, but it has been 5 years. It's been half a decade, and things will always be moving and shaking and developing through your audience, through your community is also moving, grooving, and shaking. As business owners, we have to be able to identify trends in industry versus trends in your individual business. You need to be able to identify when this is something that is happening to everybody or this is something that is just happening to you. And at the end of the day, both of these scenarios means that we have to make a change in our actions in order to see a different result in the outcome. A trend across the industry right now is that people are saying that their normal marketing isn't working. It's feeling like you have to pull teeth to be able to make more sales. This is happening in many e-commerce businesses. I have plenty of clients that are, what their current marketing was is still absolutely working. I have many clients that are not really seeing this change in their overall marketing, but I do have many people that are like, what is going on? I want to record this episode because I can be the space because I speak to so many business owners to normalize and have this conversation and really tell you when things are happening in the entire industry and not just your business specifically. I have a lot of business owners coming to me saying, Maddie, what's going on? Like the marketing that I've always done is not working anymore. I feel like my launches aren't performing as well. I feel like things are just kind of stale and stagnant right now. Why has my January and my February not been feeling the same as it usually is? And I think a lot of people feel this at the beginning of the year just because it's like after this big peak in the holiday season, as they see, oh my gosh, the holidays, they go on for 3 months now, and we're talking about it and we're making a lot of sales and things are going. And then it's like, all right, all the way down. First of the year, people start saving money. Consumer, like the J months are statistically slower months for a lot of e commerce brands. And so I think there's already this jarring comparison from December to January. But this Q1, more than others, more people are feeling this way. From last January to this January to last February to this February, people are feeling like things are slow. And this is something that is happening. And why it is because the consumer behavior has changed. So I really want to talk about what to do when this happens. And my clients that are not seeing this sales decline, I started to see the themes at what is really working with them. And from talking with my colleagues as well, they have started to feel that in their businesses and other people. And I've been having these conversations. And so I wanted to bring that here. My clients that who have stayed true to one major value, they have stayed true to one major piece in their marketing, are still thriving and growing right now in 2025. This is not going to shock you. It's something that I talk about a lot. For honestly, since my business has started in 2020, 2019, I guess I really started this business, I have been preaching community building because community lasts. Community withstands any change. Community withstands any algorithm shift because these people love you. They will ride for you. They love your product. They are your loyal customers, and they are people that are going to come back and seek out your content or your website or your products or your emails if they are not seeing you naturally. If they are unsure, they are with other brands, other products, they're going to come back to you. My clients that have really stayed true to this very strong community development within their brand are the ones that are still thriving and growing now more than ever before. And we're going to get into why this is. Relationships over vanity metrics matter. Connections over scarcity selling is what we need to do. Community over cold selling strategies. We have to warm these people up. We need to build emotion rather than just sell a product. So, right now, if you are selling a product and your marketing is all about look at this product, look at how great it is, go and buy it. Look at this new pattern that I have, go and buy it. Look at this new style that we created. Here's the link, go and buy it. You are probably seeing this decline because people need to know what they can really draw into. They need to know what values you have. They need to know more about your brand now more than ever. They really don't care about the product as much. You're talking too much about your product. We have to instead build a brand and have an industry leading community, like I've talked about for a really long time. I have plenty of podcast episodes from the last few years about community building in your business that will still remain true today, but it's just more important than it ever has been. We're seeing companies, honestly, we're seeing consumers not want to buy from people unless they have these elements. People can find replacements now for your product everywhere. You could go on Amazon and I could find 100 replacements for the product that you create, probably, unless you've invented something new. But you can find replacements for products on Etsy, on Amazon, on Instagram. Like we are being bombarded with options right now. And what that means is that you need to stand out in a way to actually be the option that they choose when they need your product. If somebody wants to go buy a candle, they can go to Walmart and find 50 options of candles. But why would they instead want to go on your Instagram, go through your website, pick out which candle they want and pick the one that they want, wait 5 to 7 business days, and then have their candle when they could drive to Target and find a candle as well, when they could go onto Etsy and buy from somebody else. Your marketing must share what makes your product different. Your marketing must share, it must connect with your followers as community members so they connect with you over other people. So when they have that idea of like, all right, like I want a candle, like I feel like this would be a perfect place for a beautiful candle, they think of your brand because you are connected to them on that front because they feel like they are a part of your community. Your marketing must involve these people in your business for them to feel connected to it. Your marketing must have relationships and community at the forefront. Gone are the days where we can just say, here's my product, go and buy it. That worked in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021 when people were sitting online wanting to shop. There wasn't as many businesses out there. It wasn't as mainstream to have your business based on social media. Now, in 2025, community is necessary. And as Gen Alpha keeps growing, as Gen Z gets to be a stronger consumer, as millennials continue to buy from people, those generations increasingly want to feel connected to a brand. They want to know your values. They want to know what you're all about. They want to know why they should love you, what you stand for, what emotion they're going to feel when they purchase from you over other brands. This is why like TikTok, this like cancellation world is so huge is because the people that are consuming content on social media right now really care about values and who you are as a person. Now, we don't have to worry about this whole cancel culture as much in business, but what it does tell us is that people care about people. People care about who you are, your values, and they really only want to support businesses and people that they feel like they align with who they are as a person, as a brand, as a like value centered like-minded feelings. And so I don't want that to scare you as like people aren't going to like me, I'm not that interesting. I want you to see that as a superpower, as you who you are right now is a superpower for your brand. Who you are right now is able to connect with your community, with your audience, with your followers in a way that makes them love you so much stronger, that makes them feel more connected to you as a person. My clients who have never wavered on their values, on their commitment to a community, on their commitment to not just pushing product, but pushing a brand story are the ones that are thriving the most. The people that are really focusing on connection, they're focusing on community, the ones that are adding these elements back into their model. Just a quick little side note. The Amazon guy just came, so I paused the video. Of course, I had to open all of the fun Amazon things that I had. And when I sat down, my dog curled up right on my lap. So if you are watching on Spotify or on YouTube, if you're watching the video, we have a new friend. He's going to just sit here. This is how he sits whenever I'm working on my laptop or like on a work call as well. He's just a lap dog at his core. So don't mind the quick little switch to the cutest dog ever sitting on my lap. But what I was saying was talking about my clients that really haven't wavered on the community side of their business, seeing the best results. And I want to give you some ideas of what that might actually look like in the strategy for your business moving forward. This new change really isn't just like a consumer behavior, like it's not a trend, it's not like something that we just think would be beneficial. It really is more of a need in the industry now more than ever. We're really seeing that post pandemic, people are wanting community, they're wanting connection as those new generations come up. The value system is a really major factor on what businesses they want to really support. This really is a consumer behavior need at this point, depending solely on product focused content. Look at my product, look at me watching my product. Here's the behind the scenes of me making my product, day in the life of somebody that makes these products. So look at this new pattern that I'm developing. All of those pieces are wonderful, but to depend solely on product focused content is no longer going to serve you in business to the point that it used to. It's not working to grow or scale your sales in 2025. we need to get a little bit deeper than that. So I have a couple of guided questions here that I want to ask you so you can really start to develop this and figure out what are some good ways that you can utilize community in your business. I want you to think right now about like how can I actually talk less about my product and actually connect with my audience more? When we look at your brand, what is it about your product that is different than everybody else's? What are the values that you have built within your product suite and within your brand as a whole that you really want to share? Is it healthy? Is it affordable? Is it sustainable? Do you just really care about the quality to the crazy degree? Do you really love being a small business versus having something manufactured? What are the values behind you as a person and a brand? Do you really care about the creativity behind it, as well as what is that core differentiator behind your brand? If you don't have a core differentiator right now, what sets your brand, your company, your product, your brand apart from every other product in the industry that is creating the same product as you or creating the same the same actual physical product? If it's very similar, what makes yours different than theirs, or what have you at least decided on? And if you don't know your differentiator, I urge you to go into the show notes, click free resources, go in and download the Standout on Social Media training completely for free. And you will figure out what your differentiator is, your branding is, and what your ideal customer is right there. It's a completely free training because it is just absolutely necessary for you to stand out. It's something that is absolutely necessary for you. So I want you to think about what is that differentiator? What are your values? What are the emotions that you're trying to make people feel when they come in contact with your brand? And what is the story that we can actually tell your community that when they come in contact, they will feel this, or you created this product to solve this certain problem? What is that brand story that you are trying to develop? If you have ever read The Creating a Brand Story, I think it's by Donald Miller, that will be a really great book. I think it's on Shopify or Spotify as well, to that you can kind of dive in there. But those are some questions that I really want you to think about and really look at, because how can you need to know your brand, you need to know your values, you need to know what your company stands for, what separates you. And then we need to look at from a strategy standpoint and like a tangible standpoint, how can we connect with your audience more? How can you share those values more? How can you create your social media to feel like a two-way street, like you're having a conversation, not just talking at people? Your social media should not look like, here's my product, go and buy it. Or it shouldn't just be like a forum. It shouldn't look like a website. It should look like a community. It should look like you're educating people, you're inspiring people, you're teaching them something, you're showing them some sort of process. If your social media right now is just like a forum to share your product photos, and it's just here's this ring that I made, or here's this sun catcher that I made, that's all well and fine and great, but we need to have more of a reason behind people wanting to stick around. People need to be able to get something out of your social media as a whole. How can you create more collaboration? How can you create more connection? How can you create more two-way street, again, collaboration with your audience? When we talk about community, I want you to think right now, what is like the definition of a community? If you were to think of a community in person, what does it look like? You have events, you're talking with each other, you're having conversation, you have shared values, you have like a common interest. That is what a community is that you have a common interest, you do something the same, you're chit-chatting back and forth, you have conversation. That is what we need to create online. You need to ask more questions on your Instagram stories. How can you get them more involved in your business decisions? And how can we really make your online presence feel like a community of people? How can we get them more involved? This is how can we really engage your audience? The nurture, if you've been in my audience, if you listen to what I teach you need to grow, nurture, and sell. That is a buying cycle, that is a buying funnel. You need to know how to grow, nurture, and sell. And so now more than ever, we need to focus more on that nurturing because it's what people are craving and what they need. They need to be heavily nurtured. This might mean that it takes people longer to buy when they find you, because people really do need to be nurtured and really understand who your company is, what you stand for, what are your values, and what are they supporting when they buy from you? What are they going to feel when they receive your product? What are we trying to elicit in all of those emotions just in the process of working and like supporting your business as well? People will choose you over other businesses for a few reasons. And it really is connection, it's emotion, it's values, it's desire. That is what you need to build. You need to focus on building connection, emotion, value, and desire for your brand. We no longer can have a product focused marketing strategy. We have to have a brand, community, relationship focused marketing strategy. It's going to make such a big difference. I would love to hear if this is something that you are experiencing right now. If you're feeling like your sales are a little slow, if you are like, Maddie, thank you for talking about this. I thought that it was just me. It's not. I just want to be very open with you. And I'm always here to just be that like transparent point in the business journey. I talk about having a network of like minded people or having other business owners around you, needing this community of business owners so you can have conversations like this. And if you don't have them, I want to be able to provide that for you. This is something that is happening. It doesn't mean that you should toss your business to the back burner and really burn it down and start over. It doesn't mean that anything is wrong with you. It just means that the consumer behavior right now, people are skeptical. People do want more information. People are more value centered than they have ever been in the buying process. So we have to build more of this community. And my clients, the businesses that I am around, my colleagues, the people that I am talking to, that have not wavered in that community building strategies. Community building doesn't even need to be a strategy. It's just a focus in everything you're doing is at building that ride or die community around emotions and values and connection with the people that you have and really serving your people. Those brands have withstood this like pendulum swing because that is what people are needing now. We have been talking about this in this community for a lot of years. It just means that if you have not yet focused on it, if you do not have something within your strategy every single week that you're doing to build community, now is the time to do that. So, thinking back to those questions, what makes you stand out? What does your brand really stand for? How do you want people to feel when they come in contact with your brand? And how can we build more collaboration and connection within your marketing strategy that you have right now? This is not something to freak out about. It just means going back to the episode that came out on Tuesday is this just means you either can take this as, oh my gosh, my business, like I am failing. My business is going to need to be torn down. This is crazy. This is going to take me so much work to build back up. Or you can realize that this is not a personal problem. This is just an industry wide trend that we're seeing right now. You now have the information that you need. Now it's about just implementing. We need to move the businesses that are continuously thriving, continuously really seeing some major changes. What they do is that they don't get discouraged by this. They almost see it as a challenge. They see it as a way for them to be able to be better and be ahead of other people and to adapt quicker than everybody else. They see this as a way that now it's the opportunity for them to adapt and to maybe do it better than they were even doing it before. This is an opportunity. It's not a personal attack. This is something that is going on within consumer behavior. We cannot control it, so we must adapt to it. I would love to hear if this is something that you are experiencing, if this was a helpful conversation, if this is something that you are seeing as well. I know we have such a wonderful resource of business owners right here, and I would love to hear from you on my Instagram at This Is Madison page. Please head over there and reach out. It makes my day when I get to stalk your profile, see what your business is all about, and I love to hear which episodes, what takeaways, and just what's going on in your business. So feel free to send an Instagram DM over there. I hope this was helpful. I love you. I'm rooting for you, and I'm in your corner always. As a spoiler, there is something coming to the podcast on Monday. So, just a couple of days from today, stay tuned. I am so excited to be bringing it over to you. It's something I've been working on behind the scenes for a while, and I can't wait to deliver that over to you. So, make sure you're subscribed so you are getting that notification on Monday, as well as on the episode on Tuesday. We will be chit chatting about it too. I hope you have a great day. I will talk to you very soon, and I'll see you in the next episode.